Guys, stop apologizing for being proud of yourself. Sometimes people that talk to me, they'll be like, oh my God, they'll be like, I'm sorry, man. I feel like I'm just talking about myself. I'm like, hey man, listen, it's okay to believe in yourself around me, buddy. Okay? You're giving me hope. When good shit happens to people, I get hopeful. Cause that's the positive about being selfish.
Welcome to FredTalk, where if you're not learning, hopefully you're laughing.
Big kid energy. Welcome to the FredTalk podcast. I am your host, Freddie Valoy. This is a podcast about life, about how people build their philosophies and what their relationship experiences are like. Relationship perspective. Everybody's got one. Today's episode is it's a fun one. You already saw the title. I already know I'm naming this episode "What the fuck is an NFT?" If you're into crypto or whatever, or have been hearing about NFTs, I think we clear up a lot in this episode on exactly what NFTs are and how they can be useful to humanity outside of, overly priced art, overly speculative digital art, how the functions can be used to help people in everyday life, help them escape the wheel of destruction, the shit that sucks your soul. This NFT thing, this crypto thing, blockchain, all that is giving people a chance to be free from having to, they're essentially working for themselves. So this NFT thing is very interesting to me because I was speaking to a 21-year-old about it, and he says NFTs are like Beanie Babies. And me being just whatever, millennial, 35-year-old, I'm like, well, Beanie Babies fucking crashed. Like, it wasn't even a thing. It was a bubble. He said, exactly. And I was like, oh, okay, young motherfucker. He fucking put me on game right there. I was like, that makes sense. So it seems like, and we covered this in the episode, and Marley gives his expertise on that whole thing right there. But it seems that this is somewhat of a wave and people are riding it. And this is a chance where I think it's at least worth looking in if you're into fucking keeping your finger on the pulse. This seems at least like one of those things you will get a benefit from just watching and observing the rise and fall and trying to figure it out. You don't even need to necessarily invest. This is just my opinion. But to me, it seems like things like this are going to constantly come up in society, right? The internet was the big thing. Blockchain is like the next thing. There's going to be these things where you felt like you should have jumped on it a long time ago and you maybe missed a train. So I think if you at least start paying attention to the trends, you'll be able to get better at realizing them when they come. So I don't know. That was a lot, but this is what the fuck is an NFT? And I think that was the perfect intro for that. Marley has awesome energy. He's got intelligent bro energy, and I like that because my foundation, I'm heavy bro, right? I'm heavy bro, and then I'm more idiot. You know what I'm saying? I'm that dude, and I like Marley. Really good energy, and he really explains NFTs, and we have a really fun episode. So let us know what you think. Subscribe, rate, and review. Share my stuff, guys. Sign up to the Patreon. $5 a month, you get extra content. Support the movement, baby. Today's episode is brought to you by the guys at ownthechaos.com. Sign up for their stock watch list where they send you a daily email with the 5 stocks to watch that day. All right. These guys are on it too. These guys are helping people make money. They created an account for their YouTube channel, and over a year, it's doing well. These guys know what the hell they're talking about. And I'm not just saying that because I'm on their show Thursdays at 3:30. Okay. These guys, you know me, you got to call it how it is. So, sign up for their stock watch list at ownthechaos.com. Guys, without any further ado, I'm going to have my boy on. This guy's an OG FredTalk listener too. So shout out to Marley Ely, and here's his episode. Yay.
Yeah. Or should I get a little bit closer?
Get a little bit closer. Try to be 6 inches away.
Okay.
All right.
That's what really gives the smooth.
Yeah.
You can kind of.
You're deep in here.
Yeah.
They're hanging out with us.
Over there. Can you hear me? All right.
And I want it on record too that your hair was cut off, and I could have been a jealous bald guy, and I could have left it cut off the whole episode. But I was like, no, this man has awesome hair, and we need to show the people that.
Oh my gosh, no, that's insane. I literally tell my girlfriend every day. I'm like. You got to get used to me. I'm going to be bald in a few years. Get ready for it.
Yeah.
Gotta prep her. She needs to know it's going to happen.
But I'm surprised hair technology hasn't gotten better. You know, it seems like at some point, are the men in your family bald or?
Yeah. I've always heard it's like what? It's like your mom's father, your mom's grandfather.
Yeah.
But my mom's dad was definitely bald.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So let's enjoy these days. Yeah, you're out here doing it.
Gotta enjoy it while it lasts, right?
So Marley, what the fuck is an NFT?
First of all, 3-letter acronym, right?
Yeah.
NFT. Basically, it's a non-fungible token.
I love that. I like knowing that. It sounds so smart. You're like non-fungible token. It's like, all right, so like, what does that mean?
Yeah, this isn't like near function technology or anything like that, or some other random NFT acronym. So non-fungible token, right? So in order to really understand non-fungible tokens in the very beginning is understanding a little bit about the blockchain. Okay. Right. So the blockchain essentially, is this decentralized, immutable ledger. So where did the internet start? I'm obviously not someone who knows a whole lot about like networks and servers and infrastructure and things like that. But basically, the internet is run by these centralized companies that are like helping to provide the internet infrastructure. Now, the blockchain, on the other hand, is basically a lot of smaller computers that have opted in to help provide that internet infrastructure. And then what makes it relevant is everything on the blockchain can be seen and it can't be changed, right? So if we're looking at a ledger, you could think about it like we're at a poker table.
Yeah.
And you've got 5 people playing poker all together. And there's one person who's just constantly marking everything. It's like, okay, that person won. He moved those dollars to that person won. Those moved like that. That's a ledger, right? Immutable means it can't be altered. Okay. So as far as blockchain technology, it's basically just this immutable ledger that's perpetually being put on as a decentralized place where computers are opting in. Okay. Now, when a lot of people think about blockchain or crypto, you think about Bitcoin, you think about Ethereum, you think about Dogecoin, Shiba Coin. Yeah. Someone literally just on the news, what's today? It's like November 3rd, right? Someone just put in $5,000 a year ago into Shiba Inu coin and came out, $8,000 and came out with $5.3 billion. He
put it in a year ago?
Yeah. Dude. It's insane. But that was like the biggest gamble. That's literally like winning the lottery 10 times over back to back. Like,
yeah, that's crazy. That's yeah.
So anyways, like, as far as like fungible tokens go, it basically, like, the term fungible just means that it's interchangeable without any difference in value, right? So I can give you a $1 bill. You can give our friend Frank a $1 bill. Frank can give me a $1 bill. It's all the same $1 bill. It's all worth the same. That's a fungible item, right? Fungible dollar. So that's like Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a fungible token. You've got Ethereum, a fungible token. Yeah. Each one is worth the exact same regarding of where it is. Now, non-fungible tokens, on the other hand, mean that there's only one of each token and each one can have different derived values. Yeah. Even if they're in the same collection, right? Yep. So long story short, NFT, non-fungible tokens, it's basically a way to be able to be a part of this immutable ledger where each piece is worth different values based on whatever, derivative we decide. Yeah. And we can really dig deeper. There's so much more to talk about. That's just like the baseline level.
Yeah. So it's almost like, like art, like it has it's very subjective. And what I like about this is the opportunities that it gives for the for like artists. So like I could mint some NFTs, have people buy them at like $1, and to me it's very clout driven. So if let's say I achieve my goals of being one of the best comedians in the world, those NFTs are going to be worth a hell of a lot more someday. So
fuck yeah.
And then the artist also gets, correct me if I'm wrong here, the artist also gets paid on every resale of the NFT?
Yeah. That's one of the many game changers.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a game changer.
Yes.
Perpetual royalties for the artist.
Yeah.
Another game changer, and this is probably more of the narrative that's going to be the future from here, is really showing proof of digital ownership. So
why is that going to be so important?
So for me personally, when I heard about this initially, it really didn't do too much, right? I was like, okay, proof of digital ownership, like that's cool. Like I don't care, I can right click save that. But when I was talking to some younger people, and I don't know, I personally don't play a lot of video games. Like, do you play many video games? No? Yeah. But I can recall when I was a kid, I used to play video games.
Yeah.
So when I was telling a younger audience group about it a couple months ago, they were like, 21, 22 years old at the bar. They instantly got it because they played a lot of video games. They played Fortnite, they played like Counter-Strike, they played Call of Duty, all of these different things. So when I told them that there was digital ownership involved, clicked immediately. Like they understood it. So what makes digital ownership relevant is that as we progressively move into a more digital based society, and I think COVID was a huge catalyst for this.
Yeah.
We're going to be seeing more and more opportunities for people to be able to almost like have their digital flex and also be able to create value in a digital world and buy and sell that. Right. So hypothetically, if I was like a kid playing like World of Warcraft, which I actually used to play World of Warcraft, like back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I would spend all these hours on items that literally meant fucking nothing. Like the company World of Warcraft owned all of them. But what would happen if I could play that video game and make X amount of items and dollars and then go around to the marketplace and sell it to someone for real world cash and they're going to pay for that, right?
Yeah.
It could be like a cosmetic skin. It could be like a crazy item. But when I tell younger people about that, they fucking latch on immediately. And I'm not going to bet against Gen Z. Like, that's not a population base that you want to bet against. Like, lean into it. There's a lot of money making opportunities there.
100%. Because it seems like the millennials. Are you millennial, younger millennial?
Yeah.
So it seems like we are the generation that's like, we got duped. So we're like, what the fuck? And we're recovering from that. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to recover from that. Gen Z was like, all right, we saw what happened to these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
We're going to do it a little bit differently. And I think that's one of the things we're seeing here. So like essentially within these video games, these kids are creating their own ecosystem and own marketplace and opportunities to create money, which is like fucking awesome because the virtual world is an infinite, right? So you can just fold upon each other and create these opportunities. The way I look at NFTs is almost like, a bunch of people made like a lot of people became super wealthy off the internet coming in, right? The internet bubble. Then like a bunch of people with crypto and there's still room to go. Yeah. A lot of people became, and it just seems like there's going to be more opportunities for that. So I think just looking into NFTs is worth it. If you're trying to find something like that, there's always going to be, there's always going to be the next industry or something that comes out because we're going to be in the virtual world. So I think this is super interesting. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No. You're totally right on that. Like kind of speaking about like Web 2 and that kind of goes down the whole story of like Web 1, Web 2, Web 3. Right?
What is that?
So Web 1 is like the whole concept of like the very first infancy of the internet.
Yeah.
It was predominantly just like almost like read write type of technology. Only the mega geeks were in on it. The real winners of Web 3 or Web 1 for that matter were Microsoft, Apple, the original foundations of the internet. Web 2, we're kind of at the tail end of Web 2 transitioning into Web 3, but Web 2 was all about being able to interact with the internet a little bit more. So that's when we started to see YouTube, Facebook, Google, almost like the platforms. That's a good way to think about it, right? But they're all like centralized entities, the platforms. Now, who made all the money in Web 2? All the companies that came out. There's a lot of people who maybe like bought and sold websites, you know, something like that.
Yes.
Now Web 3 is totally different because it's going to be all about almost empowering the individual by being able to have that like decentralized entity. So it's not like I'm going to make it. It's like the term we're going to make it. Right?
Yeah. I like this because it's in line with one of my favorite thinkers. Naval Ravikant thinks that gig work is the future. Like you're going to wake up, you're going to have jobs on your phone based on whatever skills you've developed. You're going to complete said jobs, get paid then. And I feel like this is in line with that, which I really like. It's because I don't know. Cause like when I'm thinking about raising a kid, I'm like, I'm going to have to pay attention to what his natural abilities are. And then try to like, I don't know. I don't know. It just makes you think about survival in the future.
Oh yeah. Completely, man. I mean, thinking about where the population is going to be in 50 years is going to be fucking wild.
Yeah. Crazy.
Like, I don't think we're going to Mars. I think we're going into computer,
Yes. Oh yeah. Especially with this metaverse push and all that.
Oh yeah. That's a whole other concept. We can dig into that after we tell everybody like the beginnings, the foundations, then we can dig on like the most.
No, we'll stick on NFTs for this episode because I feel like you could come back from metaverse, bro.
That's a whole nother story, literally.
So digital ownership.
Yeah. So kind of like digging back into that, it's all about just being able to own some sort of digital asset, right? So the way that NFTs are right now, I'm going to be totally honest. It is gregarious how much things are being valued because it's so early on. It's like a lot of people who have been in crypto for a long time say that NFTs feel like 2013 in Bitcoin, just like exaggerated values like crazy. Yeah. So, as far as digital ownership goes, NFTs are always going to be around going forward from here. Now, they're not going to be at the crazy values. You're not going to see people like putting $400 into a picture of an ape and then 5 months later selling it for $700,000. That's just because it's such a brand new technology. People don't know how to value it, right? Yeah. Now, with that being said, there are people who are speculating that these projects that came out in this 2021 run are going to be seen as artifacts of a historic moment of when we shifted from Web 2 to Web 3 and are going to be revered as like, Picassos and Van Goghs.
Oh, shit. Like so you can probably get a bunch of them for super cheap and just hold on to them.
So that is the speculation, right? Yeah. Now, with that being said, 99% of the ones that are coming out are probably going to go to zero. There's only 1% that are going to be worth anything. Because right now, if you go on the marketplace, which is OpenSea.io, just in case anybody want to check it out, it's a fucking zoo. You see pudgy penguins. You see Bored Ape Yacht Club. You see cool cats.
Yeah, there's like lazy apes. There's
lazy lions. Yeah, exactly. You see fucking platypuses. For some reason, I have no idea why. It's literally a fucking zoo. Nobody did anything other than a fucking animal.
Why is that? I was wondering what that like. Is it just like group think type thing or
group thing? 100%.
Wow. Okay.
So Bored Ape came out and then everyone tried to copy that model. Yeah. But kind of like doing a little, and I know we're getting pretty tangential with all of this right now.
It all makes sense.
It'll make sense. Rewatch it, listen to it again. Yeah. But kind of like the whole history behind like NFTs is they really came out in 2017. And the one that most people have seen, well, actually right now, most people have probably seen the apes, Bored Ape Yacht Club, just because that's been getting such a social status lately. Yeah. But if you Google NFT, you probably see like a pixelized person, it looks like a Nintendo video game from 1986. Yeah. I don't even know if Nintendo was around right then. But that's called a CryptoPunk. And that was one of the very first NFTs that ever came around. And they just fucking launched it for free. Like basically as just an ode to new technology. It was done by this company called Larva Labs. They did a bunch of stuff for the last 10 years beforehand. And
why did it become so popular? Like what was the thing that made it go, oh, we can like, why who said, hey, this is a thing? Like,
so it probably was like more of a 0 to 1 type of moment. Yeah, I would say, because I remember looking back at CryptoPunks in January of this year, and I got into crypto like, I don't know, I've always been like a rule of 3 type of person. So whenever I see something 3 times that I don't know anything about, I'm like, okay, I should learn about this. Yeah. So the first time I heard about Bitcoin was like, sophomore in college. didn't think anything of it. It was like my nerdy roommate. You know, then I heard about it again in 2017. I made like $200 off of it, and then it crashed, and I was like, oh shit, like Bitcoin's dead. Then I realized that it was breaking all-time highs in December of last year.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is the third time I've heard about it.
Hold on. You know what's funny about it crashing that last time? It was still hanging out around like $8,000 for the most part.
Right.
And people were saying that it crashed. I'm like, how? Like an Amazon stock is like $3,500. Like,
Yeah. People are still paying $8,000 for this. How did it crash?
yeah. Like,
Yeah. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's your car.
Yeah,
Like,
yes.
your Honda Civic.
and that was like, I feel like that was just like the new all-time low. But,
Yeah. And it's crazy. I don't know. I guess if we're looking at it, how it's going to be relative to you guys, you know, every single cycle, it goes up super high and then crashes down, but it makes a new like higher low, and then it goes up and then it crashes down and it's a new higher low. That was kind of a mind fuck right there.
I was like, I was the one that smoked a joint before this. He said, I don't smoke. I was like, I don't know, but that was.
I know.
So it crashed in December. You hopped in.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, it's starting to make some new highs. I was like, I need to learn about this. So when I learned about it, it was, you know, I was all in at that point in time. I was like, okay, I get this. This is actually the decentralized technology behind it is fucking massive. Behind just like being a store of value, there's a whole another area of crypto based on just decentralized use cases that we can talk about at another point in time. But I remember seeing like a CryptoPunk in January for like $11,000. And I was like, what the fuck is the point of that? It's, you know, it's a JPEG. I can, you know, copy.
I can screenshot it. That's the people say that. Yeah. Why do I care?
Save. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I feel like just from this year, it just like blew up like crazy. I think it was just a like accumulation of other things.
Yeah.
So NBA Top Shots came out in February, or actually it came out like last year.
The trading cards and shit.
Yeah, like that's like the digital trading cards version.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's like a small little video that's commercially licensed. And I know it sounds like you got a question to ask.
Yeah. So I did notice an uprising in just normal trading cards. The values of that went up right before NFTs truly popped about 18 months ago or something like that.
Yeah.
So that interesting. Okay. So yeah, it was a confluence of that, those few things. Awesome. Okay.
And so I guess kind of that like group think mentality.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that NBA Top Shot really brought a lot of attention to NFTs. And I think that that's what skyrocketed the price exponentially because people were looking into it, right?
Yeah.
It was like, I mean, if you think about it, NBA, like commercially licensing moments, little small videos to random people, that's kind of massive. Like they were super early if you think about it. But there's just a lot of money coming to that area, and that was like the first pump. So I remember seeing CryptoPunks at like $11,000, and then a couple months, like probably a month or two later, $48,000. Right. Once again, they just kind of gained their value from being the first.
Yeah.
And they're not really the true first, but they were the first to be able to do the profile picture, the avatar style.
Yeah.
And that's what's really gained a lot of momentum right now. It's starting to change. But
in what way is it changing?
So it's moving from just profile pictures that someone can use as their digital flex. So right now, all the CryptoPunk is, I mean, actually there's quite a bit more to it because there's a community aspect, but it's a flex. It's a flex.
I want to get to the flex in a second. I don't want to forget the community aspect. Because that's one thing. As I'm looking, I'm like, how do I buy one? What am I looking here? And I did notice it seems like you want to get on board, and this is very akin to the art community in the physical world.
Yeah,
you want to get on the community that has some sort of clout for whatever reason.
Yeah,
that's like one of the
100%. Yeah. So that kind of weaves into the story perfectly because CryptoPunks, they're so expensive because they were the first. That's it, right? Bored Ape Yacht Club comes into the scene in May, right as Bitcoin's crashing again. And really it became the very first like tightly knit community. So at this point in time, I was kind of still just an observer. So I watched, CryptoPunks fly, kind of forgot about it, got into Top Shot, made like $300 off of like 20 hours of investing my time. And I was like, this is not worth my time whatsoever. And then, decided to start observing it once again. And that's when I really started to see Bored Ape Yacht Club come into play. And really like the biggest thing about this was it was the first almost community driven NFT project. So basically the founders, they didn't really have much of a roadmap. They just said like, we're going to create some dope art. The whole concept behind what's happening with like Bored Ape Yacht Club is they've got a centralized avatar and then they recreate or they create all these different assets and then they use computer programming to randomize those assets based on rarities that they almost like pre-create.
Yeah.
So it's all a Python algorithm. And what happens is you get a huge collection, 10,000 of these Bored Apes, and they're all one of one pieces. But the artist didn't have to create 10,000 different pieces. They created 10 different skins, 20 different hats, 15 different mouths, 20 different eyes. And then they just let the computer do the rest. So that's what kind of digging back into the whole non-fungible aspect of it. That's what also creates it rare because it's one of one. But what happened with the community is like you had all of these fucking 20, 30, 40-year-olds like all on Twitter Spaces, like making ape sounds. like just like everyone is like literally, and that's when it really started to fucking take off. Like when you saw all of these people like on the mic and they're, Twitter Spaces like Clubhouse and there's like, exactly like in public too. Like literally.
Dude, all right. I can totally see, dude, that's so, the chances of that, like so crazy, but it makes total sense. Dude. Like I just got excited making those ape sounds now. Like,
dude, people will ape the fuck in.
Yeah.
But like, it's crazy because then it's all happening on Twitter. It's all happening on Discord. Those are the two main places. Like anyone who's looking to get involved with NFTs right now, definitely get on Twitter. Definitely get on Discord. I didn't know what the fuck a Discord was until all of this. Basically, it's like Reddit on steroids.
Yeah, people can go and like talk, chat. Yeah.
And there's different channels and shit like that, and you can search it. But that's where all the alpha is, and alpha is like the
where you see the early shit.
That's where you see the early shit.
I like that, man, because I notice things in society, and there's been things that I've called that I'm like, fuck yeah. And when I started realizing that, I told my girl and she's like, no, you did. I'm like, all right. I'm like, watch over the next few years. She's like, watch. I'm like, watch over the next few years. I predicted a few other things. She's like, you start getting in the stock market now. And then, with the Dogecoin, I was like, Rach, if we had $1,000 to fuck with, I was like, I would put some in. And this was before it took off. And now I
got like 2 cents or something. You're like,
it got to the point where I feel like she was resenting me. She's like, hey, do you want to start investing? She's like, just go buy some NFTs. Yeah. Go do it. I'm like, all right, fuck it.
She's like,
let's
don't
go.
Don't even ask me. Just fucking like be a DJ.
Yeah. She was like, let's go.
Honestly. And that's kind of the move to Web3 too, is almost like there's like a DGen aspect of it.
Yeah.
But there's power in numbers, So now it's not just relying on the hedge funds and the investment bankers of the 1980s and 70s who they were all doing the same exact shit as us. They're saying, all right, we're going to pump up this one thing and then fucking sell it at the top. Yeah. Everyone's about to get wrecked. And then we're going to do it again to another person. It's
now we get to do that to ourselves.
Oh, that's so fucking true. It's like, all right, I'm going to put all of this in. I just got wrecked.
Yeah, because
I fucking sold the bottom and bought the top. Yeah.
So I was talking to a 21-year-old and I was talking about NFTs and he was like, they're like Beanie Babies. And me, I'm like, well, fucking Beanie Babies crashed. And he's like, yeah, that's the point. He's like, it's like the younger generation knows that just bubbles exist or something. And I kind of like that. I was like, all right, so it seems like he's just taking advantage of the bubble. And NFTs will stick around because of the value to the artist, I believe. But what do you think about that statement, that analogy to Beanie Babies?
Yeah. So, I agree in some areas and disagree in other areas. Okay. So kind of just leading what I do agree with is that right now we are in a crazy speculative price point where in the future, we're not going to be able to put $400 in and get $700,000 out.
Okay.
Like that's just not going to happen.
It'll be a smaller gap is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now, that does make sense because it's such a new technology and people don't know how to price it appropriately. Now, what I disagree with in terms of like NFT utility for it, that's going to expand like crazy, right? There's anything where there is a need for some sort of digital ownership through the blockchain, through the immutable ledger, then that's going to exist, right? So you've got a lot of different use cases that are possible. So obviously the transfer of digital assets via art, right?
Yeah.
You know, royalties to an artist is a fucking game changer. Before,
crazy.
Imagine if Van Gogh was able to make money off of every single art piece that he made.
The world is going to be a more beautiful place because of it.
Fuck yeah. I think that these next 10 years are going to be huge for creators. Anybody who's out there who's like, man, like I fucking hate working this 9 to 5. I want to be an artist. Or on the other side of the spectrum, I fucking hate making lattes for rich ass douchebags all the time. I just want to be an artist. Like now is the time to go into that shit because we're creating an area where artists and creators can actually make money. Yeah. And I think where we're at right now is literally at the precipice of mass adoption, like massive adoption to degrees that I don't think many people anticipated beforehand.
For NFTs, you mean mass adoption?
NFTs, metaverse, everything digital. Because I mean, think about it. Like when you look at a younger generation, all they care about is their digital personality. You know, they care about their Instagram, they care about their TikTok, they care about, you know, X, Y, and Z, people playing video games all the time. We kind of come from that generation where we're kind of in the transition. Yeah. You know, we were playing around in the dirt when we were kids. Yeah. And we started to like, we remember like back on AOL, like parents pissed off because they were like, I need to make a phone call. Like,
I like it. But I definitely, I'm trying to make an active thing to like still pay attention to the younger generation. Cause I just hate that just like de facto generation where like, oh, those younger kids are fucking pieces of shit. And the younger generation is just like, oh, those old people are pieces of shit. It's like, we're all pieces of shit, people. Let's fucking figure out what's the good and the bad and let's sort through it. Like, it's like,
exactly. Yeah. And that's why I always tell my friends, I'm like, guys, fucking don't bet against Gen Z because they're going to be making some money. So just to kind of go down that wormhole a little bit more of where NFTs provide different levels of utility against just the artist, obviously that's a huge plus. But what we're starting to really see is, you know, obviously we already spoke about like, you know, digital ownership in terms of like video gaming and things like that. You know, someone could play a video game, they could make money. Actually, that's a whole nother area. There's literally people in third world countries that are making full-time living playing NFT games where they actually play a video game. They acquire some sort of digital asset, sell that digital asset on the marketplace and make it. Think about like Venezuela where there's hyperinflation. They're actually making full-time wages. So that's a whole nother area. Crypto gaming is going to be fucking massive. If I would actually recommend this, since you're just now breaking into NFTs and we're still early as fuck for NFTs, crypto gaming is going to be fucking massive. That's a whole nother layer too.
Question. So one thing I've noticed before we dive deeper into it is that to make an NFT, I assumed you had to be some kind of established artist already in some form of capacity, but it seems like people who almost don't even have any experience in art are jumping into creating NFTs. Explain that.
Yeah. So anybody can create an NFT. Yeah. At this point in time, you go to OpenSea.io, you upload a piece of art, they mint it for you for free. They only make any money if you sell it. You can do that. There's literally millions and millions of pieces of art on OpenSea. There's not an amazing search engine for it. You kind of have to search the collection. You have to search usernames. So it's highly unlikely that anybody just creates an NFT and they make money off of it. Okay. Highly unlikely. I actually created an NFT with a group of people, and it took a lot of work. So, you know, I started interviewing for a team, started interviewing software developers all across the world, just trying to find someone who codes in Solidity, which is the smart contract language, because I didn't want to go through OpenSea because that was ineffective. Like the Bored Ape Yacht Club model doesn't work for OpenSea. If you're creating small pieces of NFT works, it's great for it. But if you're trying to do a huge collection, it's not very useful for it.
Okay.
Because you have to mint through your own smart contract. And a smart contract is basically just a code within a code that allows for it to interact in a certain way.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, you have to find an artist, you have to find a software developer, you have to find someone who's decent at marketing, yada, yada, yada. And basically at this point in time, it's all about building a community.
Yeah.
So there's companies that have gone out and they've created these pieces of, you know, these animals, Bored Ape Yacht Club, cool cats, lazy lions, dead fellas.
Yeah.
And they've created an amazing community around it. And because of that, it's derived value, and then they build on that. There's so much utility to build on top of it. That's, you know, we could talk about that for an hour.
When you say building a community, is it the collection that you put out or the people that are on the team doing it?
So it's both, actually.
Okay.
So it's the team behind it, because you want to bet on a team that's going to be able to execute.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a lot of the like collections that are out right now, it's first of all, a lot of cash grabs, hands down. There's also almost a mentality where you can circumvent a VC capital at this point in time and crowdfund your VC, essentially. Okay. So you get a lot of money up front, and then you can use that to build on, right? So
how much money does it cost to build an NFT or make a collection?
You can do it for free on OpenSea, or, you know, tens of thousands of dollars.
All right. So if I want to, I do OpenSea if I want to mint a tweet of mine.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But if you want to try and build a business, it's, you know, tens of thousands of dollars.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there's marketing costs. You have to pay the software developer. It actually costs about, you know, $4,000 to deploy the smart contract itself, because you have to use Ethereum and it gets burnt. It gets removed from the ecosystem when you launch it. So it physically costs money to launch it. But, you know, that's the first aspect of betting on the team. But then as far as the community aspect of it, and this is what was so huge for Bored Ape Yacht Club, is once that community started getting created, then you had people that were helping each other out, right? You would be hearing all these discussions about what's the next, you know, NFT, or what's the next crypto that we want to invest in. You know, there were people that were meeting up and like helping each other find jobs. Like there was all of, you know, people were meeting up and creating businesses, right?
Yeah.
So you're betting on like a niche community. And that's why you got to check out the Discord beforehand, because you got to see what the people are like. If you go into a Discord for a project and you're like, oh, this is only $200, this could be the next Bored Ape, and you go there and everyone is fucking shit and like toxic, then you don't want to do that, right?
That's so glad you said that, because I was at the point in my research where I'm like, all right, well, how the fuck do I know what community, how do I get to that point where I know what community to invest in?
Yeah.
So Discord's the place to go to, and you can see
100%.
how they are talking about it, how other people are talking about it and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fucking,
and what I can do.
This is golden information right here.
Yeah. And I can send you this and you can share it for all your followers. I don't know how you do the show notes or anything like that, but if it's relevant, I can share some key Twitter NFT profiles to follow.
Okay.
And that's kind of where you start to get the ball rolling, right? You see who's interacting in the community. It's an ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
And especially with Twitter Spaces, which is pretty much like Clubhouse now, you get live podcasts, live interviews. You can hear people talking, and that's how you figure out the projects to invest in.
Okay.
When you hear everyone going in on it and they're like, oh, this is fucking going to be crazy in 3 months. Like, this is the project to go in on.
Cool.
And it's really cool too, because there is a lot of like photographers and things like that. As funny enough, there's someone from basically North Carolina, and I don't want to give away too much of his story because, you know, it's not my story to tell. But he did these really fucking cool pictures of like, he would climb up on like all these massive buildings, and he would take photos of his vans from areas where it's like, if there's like a little bit too much wind, to like fall off and die. Oh. He actually went to jail for it, for trespassing. And he just had all these amazing pictures, like crazy pictures, you know, and didn't really know what to do with it. And then when he got out of jail, he got into NFTs, and now like he did the circuit. He started going on Twitter Spaces. He started having these almost like Twitter Spaces is basically just like a live podcast, you know?
Yeah.
You know, telling his story and like I think his most recent drop, he did like 20 of his pictures and each one sold for like $50,000, you know?
Wow.
So he created a community as a singular person, just doing what he already did and just bringing that to light. So that's very different from the Bored Ape Yacht Club mentality where you're creating this computer generated image.
Yeah.
That's like, we're kind of digging into a little bit more of like the one of ones, the actual pieces of art, the photography, things like that. But he built a community in and of itself, right?
Yeah.
So those are some areas that you can find like the next big thing.
Okay.
It's honestly just a lot of Twitter and Discord research.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. Nice. Let me see. To our Beanie Babies, NFTs. We already said where to get them, how to find the community.
Now, one other thing too is just kind of like where things are going. I would say, because that's going to be huge. And I don't know how long your podcasts normally are. Like,
no, I think we'll be right in there. I usually keep it around an hour. I got to go do stand up. I would stay as long as I needed to, but nice. I think we can get, that's why I recapped in my head. Cause before I get to like, where's it going? Yeah. And like, why is this, if we could highlight, why is it beneficial for society? Like that third world country thing you just said with the kid playing the crypto games.
That's huge.
That's fucking crazy.
Huge, dude. Yeah. Yeah. And that's going to be, that's a whole nother thing where it's benefiting. Right now, it's benefiting a small subset. It's about to be more. So where it's kind of going next, and here's an example, like edging on that community aspect, where NFTs are going to really thrive is being able to bridge the gap from creator to the customer. Yeah. And this is like a business perspective too. So right now, if you spend all of your money on Louis Vuitton and Rolexes and yada, 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 like you don't get shit back from it. Literally nothing. No. If you spend all your time going to the same fucking coffee shop, you might get like a free coffee here or there, right? You know, maybe if the baristas are cool. But with NFTs, and especially going into that realm of like circumventing the VC capital and kind of crowdfunding it, you can give direct benefits back to your holders. So for example, one of the NFTs that I own, you know, it pretty decent, like price wise, as far as NFTs go. It was like, $14,000, give or take. But
wow, bro, you invested. I was about to be like, fucking tell us the price. And yeah, I'm so glad you did. That's all right. So so you've invested $14,000.
Exactly. But it was with a billionaire that I've followed for years, right? So it's Tom Bilyeu.
Oh, yeah.
He created the Quest nutrition bars.
Yeah.
So he already built up a business from zero and sold his equity for $1 billion plus in 5 years. So he knows how to scale a business, right? Yeah. So he jumped into the NFT world and he wants to create this whole organization of like his whole like magnum opus is combating Disney. And basically,
he's still on that. I remember he was on Joe Rogan talking about that like 6-7 years ago, something like that.
And now he's finally done it. So he's created impact theory. He's finally doing that. And what he's done is he's created so many aspects of utility behind it. It's insane, right? Mm-hmm. So you can buy one of his NFTs for $400. I bought the $14,000 one because I wanted all the benefits, right? So I'm literally in conversation with Tom Bilyeu, a billionaire, like chatting with him on Discord. I've literally like gotten a notification from him. He didn't send it specifically to me. He kind of sent it to everyone within this group. Literally, I was going to bed. It was like midnight on a fucking Thursday and I'm going to bed and I shut my laptop. I get the notification on my Apple Watch. I go back in there. Long story short, make like $3,000 from like a 1 hour long flip of the NFT. But he's providing so much value.
So you've already made returns on your...
Oh yeah. And he's already actually given me another NFT that I sold for $3,000 like 2 days ago. So it's like,
oh shit. Oh, this is good. So you're in
this is a utility token, right? And he's bridged real world and metaverse too, because he's got all of these projects already lined up. So I got one free NFT already. He's got other NFTs with other artists that are coming out that are free for me, like with Steve Aoki. He literally is going to be doing quarterly in-person dinners with people. Like, think about how much value a 1 hour long dinner with a billionaire is. It's fucking insane, right? So he's being able to provide all these benefits through the people who helped crowdfund his NFT. And he's using that funding to build a whole new company that he's going all in on, right? So it allows me to be able to get benefit throughout like the whole aspect of his timeline. And that's what's going to be huge.
That gives me personally even more confidence in NFTs, even with all the good news I've heard. Like, there's a charity that auctioned off 100 million in NFTs. Yeah. Shaquille O'Neal just jumped into it hard. There's like McDonald's is jumping into it.
Nike just signed some paperwork for it.
Yeah, dude. This
obviously
is
Facebook with Metaverse.
Yep.
Quentin Tarantino, he's doing some stuff with unreleased manuscripts of Pulp Fiction. Like,
I mean, yeah, dude. It's
gonna be sick.
Oh, that's great. That's so cool, man. And that's cool that you're seeing money on it already and all that. And hell yeah, dude. So what's the simplest way you can convince someone to jump into the NFT space?
Yeah. Convince is hard because I've never been one like, you don't want to. And it's super weird because I'm also in sales, but like I've done, well enough in sales too. And people always said like, one thing I like about you is you don't like try and fucking sell me on it. You just tell me about it and I want to buy it anyways. So convincing is a little bit difficult. But I would say like, if you're someone who understands where the world is going and how important the digital world is going to be for this upcoming generation and you want to capitalize on that, or you want to be a part of it, it's a fucking no-brainer. You know? It's literally a no-brainer.
I think it's even worth just learning about it. Even if you don't invest, just learn. I kind of what I'm doing now. I'm not investing in it. I haven't invested yet and all that, but like, I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to,
what's 30 hours at least researching it.
Okay.
And then you'll realize you'll be like, cause I spent 30 on like Top Shot and then I spent like, actually biggest L was not betting on Gary Vee, another billionaire. That's why I said, Tom Bilyeu, I need to fucking bet on that.
Bro, I'm so glad you brought Gary Vee up. So now you got Gary Vee and Tom Bilyeu jumping on it. They're
both competitive as fuck.
Yeah.
They're gonna kill it.
Yeah, this is very interesting. And do you think we covered I want like basic high level. I'm sure we can get into,
especially if you're trying to hit the comedy club.
Yeah. We got time.
Okay, nice.
Cool. I just want to make sure. Yeah. Cause I feel like I just wanted like an intro to NFT and just help shift people's perspective on how they look at it. Cause you can't screenshot, but it's the digital ownership aspect. It provides opportunities for not only artists, but people in third world countries.
Yeah.
That was when I knew. I've done 2 Bitcoin / whatever, like blockchain episodes with my buddy Andrew, and
nice.
And that was the biggest thing, was like that third world countries, like Bitcoin's not this like, it's not this cutesy little fucking investment. This is like life or death for some people because their governments are corrupt.
Yeah.
And I just thought of this the other day. Tell me what you think of this thought.
Okay.
I feel like the blockchain is the only thing right now, because I think about China and all that. Not I'm like, they're gonna. We're not gonna stop it, right?
Yeah.
But the blockchain to me is the only thing that can slow it down. That can slow down like China's massive power.
Man, and honestly, so funny enough, they actually recently banned crypto.
Yeah.
Because they ban everything that's outside of their ecosystem. That's how they can scale up their ecosystem so quickly, so fast, is because they keep all the money within the country.
Yeah.
So they like ban Facebook, they ban YouTube, they ban Google.
They don't want transparency. And that's what,
They actually banned crypto like 3 months ago. And I've heard around the block from like sources that are generally fucking correct that they're already discussing unbanning it, because they realize that even in that short amount of time, like they were like, we're losing out on a fucking massive opportunity here. And third world countries are definitely going to be some of the biggest ones that can benefit from it. And it's kind of just like thinking about, if you, let's say hypothetically, you never really had a phone or anything like that, and then all of a sudden you have the ability to get a phone. Are you going to get an iPhone, or are you going to get a fucking Razr phone, like a flip Razr, like from 2004?
Yeah.
You're going to just get the fucking iPhone because it's intrinsically better. Right?
Yeah.
Same exact thing for these third world countries that are trying to develop their financial system. If you go to a financial system, what are you going to adopt? The one that's already been shown that hyperinflation it can fuck you up? Or do you want to go on a decentralized one that derives value from the whole world? It's like, oh, that's a no-brainer, you know?
Yeah. Oh man, that's so adoption once they get to that point, it's going to be the obvious choice.
Yeah, it's gonna be massive.
That's crazy, bro. That's so cool. Gives me hope for the future.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, that's what Web3 is all about, you know, but because of that, there's also major intrinsic risks, right? So that's another reason why the adoption's so slow. So there's quite frankly, no backing. You know, you don't have, let's say you get hacked or you get scammed and this could go both ways, or you lose your keys in a tragic boating accident. There's no actual way to be able to get that back, right? So you're putting the power in yourself to be able to keep your shit safe. And that's a huge thing. And there will be a lot of layers of adoption that will help with that.
Yeah.
For example, like I just recently read a report where there's all sorts of different banks that are actually actively discussing how they can help reserve Bitcoin for people. I have a solution for one of them, like the guy at the boating accident. You could just not be a fucking idiot. That's like, just don't be a fucking idiot. So you just gotta be not a fucking idiot when just in that part of your life. And I think that's a lot to ask for a lot of people. But it does add some risk, right? So you got to handle your own shit. Like, you know, there's the whole concept of, you know, owning your own keys. Basically, you have your own wallet, your own digital wallet, and, you know, you can access that wallet from across the world, which is awesome. You can also access that wallet from across the world, which fucking sucks. You know? So you got some random person that scams you and then all of your shit's wiped, and you can't go to a bank and say, hey, someone scammed me, because you are the bank, right?
Yeah.
And then that delves into a whole nother conversation that's for another time, but decentralized finance is insane.
Yeah.
Basically, since you're the bank, you lend out your money to another company that's already built out on the blockchain.
Yeah.
And they lend out that money to other people for crypto-backed loans, margin trading, etc. And then you get a return of that. So you can literally invest in a stable coin, which is just a coin that its value is always $1 USD. And you can get insane rates just for saving your money. So like literally there's multiple ones that will do like 12% APY, 15%, 20% APY. So you're literally beating the S&P with a savings account, right?
Wow.
So it's insane.
That's that's a big part of getting the middleman out of the situation, right? Like
exactly.
Oh, that's great. Oh, this is so cool.
Yeah. So it's huge.
Dude, thank you so much for coming on, bro. You crushed it. Yo, listeners, this was Marley's first episode, first podcast ever. You fucking crushed it, bro.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, where can people find you if they have any questions about where, you know, finding resources, anything like that?
Yeah. So my Instagram is kind of more personal. It's totally fine. But it's at Marley X Ely, ELY. I don't know, Marley by Ely, you know, I don't know.
What's that? It's all right. Don't feel insecure about your
I don't know. It's like, you know, it's like when like Supreme does a collab with like Louis Vuitton. It's like Louis Vuitton by X Supreme.
I like it. Yeah.
So it's Marley by Ely.
Yeah. Nice.
If you do want to follow my Twitter account, and I'll link this to you afterwards. That way, and I'll link actually a bunch of people that you should follow if you do want to like really dig deep into the NFT aspect of it.
Yeah.
But it's Lost Profit, PRO. PHET. So it's kind of like a double entendre, like lost profits, like taking losses, like getting wrecked.
Yeah.
And it's also just like some random person that's like lost, who's like, you know, is spitting value. So it's lost profit, period ETH. So it's like lostprofit.eth, and the .eth is actually my wallet address. So it's like, if anybody wants to send me free Bitcoin, free NFTs, free Ethereum for all this alpha, feel free to. I'm not going to be pissed. But yeah, so that's where they can find me. Still kind of working more and more on what we can do with the Moonshot group. That's me and my buddy that had created an NFT project. And, but you know, that's kind of more just like, you know, side project. It's not full done just quite yet.
All right, fuck yeah, dude. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely, man.
Guys,
it's been a blast.
The future is a fucking guys. All right. Hope that gave you hope for the future with all the bad news going on. This is a fun episode filled with opportunity and good vibes, guys. Fucking share my stuff, share a clip, share a TikTok, tell people about me, sign up for the Patreon, $5 a month to get extra content and you get a monthly live stream.
Damn.
Holla at your boy. Let's go.
$5 to see that butt?
What? Look at that.
$5? Get on that Patreon. Get on that fucking Patreon.
Bye.
Peace.